Okay, so it comes with the swap out chest piece.
You need to tell me to tiny ass.
Look at this.
Please.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite, now you start deciding to throw real paint on the figure's favorite nerd, and today we are talking about the Magic Square White Prime repaint. I'm telling you, the paint on this thing has got me tight, but we'll get there. This is on loan to me from East Coast Toys. I'm sending it back to him after I review it. Link to their Facebook is in the description. Check them out. Tell them Scully sent you. I figure this is worth doing because it allows me to show the other transformation to go from truck to bot. So you could have both for your catalog. And then if we do any more, we can do them in 5 minutes or less. So let's get started with accessories. So he comes with the gun, which we have spoken about before. It does have gray paint in there, and it does have a metallic fleck plastic to this as well. I'm not sure if the other one does or not. I can't remember. This does come apart here, and yeah, looks fine. And he'll hold that just fine. Comes with the translucent battle axe. Can't have a prime without a battle axe. Them the rules. It is translucent and it's an orange, and it's nice enough. He grips this, and then this slides down over top to kind of give the illusion that it's there. So you hold it like this. He has to be holding it upside down or it won't fit right, really. And then this one goes over top. I'll tell you, this one I had a lot more problems with this one. What is this, baby? And then he'll hold it. Transformers. So you also get the battle damage pieces. These are the two flank pieces. They just pull out and peg in. These are the two windshield pieces, obviously, and where they sit behind the frame of the windshield, you just push out and push back in. I will say, once you've pushed them out, they never quite sit 1,000% again. At least I've noticed. So I'm not going to do this to his. I did it to mine. It actually just happened during transformation, and now if you mess with it too much, they'll come popped out. And I've heard people complain about that, and I 100% agree. But it doesn't happen, at least it didn't happen for me, until it came out once. And then once it came out once, it's been a finicky thing. It is nice, though, with the silver paint and the sculpt work and the silver and black paint on the, I mean, it is done well. You also get the matrix because you have to get a matrix, dim the rules, and you have silver paint here, and then you have copper paint with this blue, like, pearlescent thing, or not pearlescent, but translucent thing in the center. That will pick up light nicely. And that can just stow right in his chest as long as you have it centered and close up. And here it is in truck mode. And like, you know, I kind of like this. I think this part back here looks a little blocky. It looks a little off to me. And I feel like these feet here collapse a little bit more, but you know, I'm not messing with it too much. But yeah, I think it works. I'll be honest with you, I miss the green. You know, like we get a little bit here in the headlights, and we get this subtle gray around here, which does look good. And then the chrome elements look great. But I do miss seeing a little bit more green. And you get it there, but I almost wish it was more prevalent here in the front. I'm not sure where they would put it, to be honest, but I do miss it. Maybe down in there. They put some in there. So I think they tried. I think they knew they were onto something with it. So that's nice to see. Same rubber tires, chrome rims, chrome fuel tanks. Rolls like a champ. We have the smokestacks. They're extendable. Blue translucents look good. We got the little side mirrors here. I don't think there's anything else to say about it other than there it is with Tiger Tracks. So let's get it transformed. I like having both options here on the channel. So the first thing I recommend doing is untabbing this side piece that's connected to the fuel tank on both sides. Then you want to kind of get these feet out the best you can, just to give yourself a little clearance for doing the rest. They're on double hinges, so you just kind of have to fight with them a taste. On the underside, you can split the legs, undo this panel here and here. Keep these up at like a 90-degree angle as a reminder, and then they tab into the side where the tires are, so you can flip those out, and hopefully that will give you the space you need. Oh, you want to extend this as well. So that will give you the space to expand the leg to kind of the natural position. At that point, you can start to spin around your tire armature, flip this panel into the fuel tank, and then flip the fuel tank in behind the tires as you continue to spin the tires back 180 degrees and then collapse on this rod, so to speak, in order for it to fit properly inside of the leg cavity. You then want to bring around this panel to the side. This will come back in. I don't have this quite right, do I? Let's see here. Oh, you know why? Because we forgot to flip this for one. And now, and this isn't tabbed in all the way. Sorry, now that's collapsed. We'll show you better on the other one. Now that'll sit inside of that housing. This flips around. Bring your little tab around here to get in to fill in that little void space, which I've always liked. And then flip this panel back to the back. Sort your foot out. That's one leg done. So once again, we're just gonna make sure that the feet are out of the way so they're not a problem. We gotta make sure that this is completely unfurled here, and that will allow this to uncombine our wars out. We have to collapse this piece onto the fuel tank onto the tires as we rotate the tires around 180 degrees. Now this is where I messed up last time. So what we have to do is as we rotate, make sure that this part of the fender is going to clear this kneecap, and then it should plug straight in. While we're here also, we'll go ahead and flip this little vent there, and then everything should collapse inside of that housing. We then flip this panel around to the side, making sure that this little cover piece goes in to fill in the gap. Make sure that's all plugged in, and then plug in this back panel and then clean up your feet. Unplug the cab from the lower part of the body, and then you can collapse that one section and spin the cab 180 degrees. Untab the bumper and front grille from the truck, which will allow you to get a lot of the other pieces to swing out. Namely the shoulders, which you can slide back and then move out to the side, kind of circa G1. And you can untab this, well, it shouldn't really matter, but you can untab this shoulder piece if it at all helps. And then same for this side. Slide back, rotate out to the side just to get them out of the way. Now we need to make the chest explode, so to speak. So open up the windshield, bring this piece around to the side on both. And it's just a matter of manipulating the clearance. Swivel this around 180, swivel this around 180, swivel this around 180, and do the same to this, which should allow you to bring these back up. In order to do so, we have to slide the arms out and bring them around to the natural position. And as we do so, we're going to bring this up to fill in that space. So same for the other side. We're going to slide out, bring around. As we do, flip this up to fill in that space. Or open up, make sure your chest remains open so that you can put the matrix back into position and then slide it in, closing the windshield around it. Collapse your waist back down. Rotate your arm so that it's in the natural position. Untab this piece from the elbow, which will allow you a little bit more play. Now, if you remember, all of this has to fold up, back and around. So you can fold this piece in and fold this piece up and this around, and it's just a matter of finding out what is going to fit in that housing. But in order to do so, we really need to get this hand out, and flip this piece up, which is the top panel for the forearm. Close that down, manipulate your armature so that it's headed towards the back of the arm. And this is just a clearance thing. And then the windshield will sit up inside. Like that. Same for this side. We'll swivel it down. We'll untab it from the elbow. This is it's a little bit of a tighter connection because of this thicker layer of paint. And swivel it into the natural position, untab it, bring the hand down, bring the panel filler up, and then extend the secondary piece close it back down. For this piece, which is not my favorite part of this figure, I will have you know, fold in the back panel, rotate this around and the armature up so that it fits inside of the forearm housing. And it's just a matter of working it, girl. There we go. And then close it up. For the head, open up this, flip this entire housing, put pressure here on the top to kind of push that side in as you're pulling the head up, because you don't want to be pulling on the antenna or anything. Snap that into position, close this in behind it, sort out the ears, and you're good to go. Let's talk about the figure. So, lots to mention. The head almost entirely painted. The blue face piece with the metallic blue paint, the pearlescent metallic paint. This white pearlescent on this looks better to me than the Fans Toys Phoenix X white paint that it got. Like, this looks really good. Now, unfortunately, the ear pieces are not painted, and they do stick out, and that is a bummer. And this one is a little loose, at least on this version, this copy. Let's see what else. Eyes are red, and then we have the gunmetal paint inside. It's on a hinge swivel, so you get up to there and down, and the swivel, so that works well. For the rest of this, we have the same pearlescent paint. We have the silver windshield wipers. We have the translucent blue. We have the darker silver paint here, the chrome here, and then the paint again on the flanks. Like, it's just really well done. You have a waist swivel, and you have an ab crunch on this series of hinges that you can get to a ridiculous level. However, it does break up the sculpt both front and back. You know, the less you use it, the more it hides it, but it does have the capability. So the shoulders can collapse or they can expand. Once they've expanded, it's basically a universal joint, so you can get up to about there on a soft ratchet and around. And this swings out for a butterfly joint. So really well done, really well thought of. Nothing new though. Paint on the shoulder, bicep swivel, just below the shoulder, chrome smokestacks that are collapsible and expandable. And then we have the elbow, which is a single hinge here, and then a double hinge there for the full run. The same pearlescent paint here, and then this metallic green. The green looks great. It's a nice accent. I like it, even on the translucent pieces. Like, I think it adds something to it. Wrist swivel, fingers are on a base pin knuckle, and then each finger is individually articulated at a secondary knuckle, and they are pinned, so that will all work nice. Fingers, thumbs on a ball peg with an additional hinge there, so the hands are fully articulated. For the hip skirts, they are, once again, not my favorite thing about this figure, but they do flip up. The green translucent, once again, looks fantastic, and they flip out to the side. The ones at the front don't bother me as much. The ones out to the side do look weird when you utilize them. For universal joints, inconsistent ratchets out, which is not great, but you get the full Van Damme. Forward and back, the ratchets feel much better, but doesn't get the full Monty. Thigh swivel, built around the universal, so that's great. And then we have the knees, which are double hinge, soft ratchet, basically here at the back piece, and then this one is just tension, but we do get the chrome piston, and that does look great. That silver paint on the thighs and hips looks phenomenal. Chrome fuel tank there, and then we have the same paint added to the plates here, and then the pearlescent paint on the legs looks great, and then we have the silver paint inside on the legs. Looks fantastic. The blue translucent down here looks good as well, and then the feet are painted. Ankle articulation, you get a toe tilt down, you can articulate the heel spur as well, and you get a rocker to an insane degree. And there he is from the back. It's a beautiful figure. Like, it looks so much better deco wise, like in the kind of care that was put into it than the normal one. The regular Prime one. Like, it's just, it has so much more of a presence because it has that paint. There he is next to the Magic Square original Prime, and like, just look at the difference that metallic paint makes. Like, it just pops so much more. It's just so aggravating looking at the two of them together for me. You get what you get, and you don't get upset. Negatives wise, there's far less to mention because if you recall, my biggest gripe with the other one was that it lacked the paint. Now, a lot of people said that it has paint on it. I'm not entirely convinced of that. I think it's probably some sort of dye that's used in the plastic or something, like, because it shouldn't rub the way it does. This is completely painted. Guess what doesn't happen? The rub. Rub-a-dub-dub, you know what I mean? I'm tired. Anyway, it still has some of those fit and finish issues regarding the tolerances, little things here and there where some things are a little too loose, some things are a little too tight. Not the biggest deal in the world, but something worth noticing, and at least worth noting, since that's the word I intended on using. And honestly, I mean, that's about it. This is a knockout figure. I will have to say that the ratchets still are inconsistent. They had the same problem on the other one, so I'm guessing that's just the supplier they're using for that specific piece. My advice to them would be, switch suppliers. The positives, too, reign the same. Sculpt is great. I love the beefiness. I love the engineering with the exception of that forearm panel. It's just obnoxious. Love the sculpt. Wish it had a little bit more die cast, but you add in all of this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful paint. And I just want to say it one more time for those that weren't paying attention. The white paint on this is greater than the white paint on Phoenix X. It looks really good. It gives it much more of a presence and loves it and makes it pop. I also want to say that I love that green on here. I know I've mentioned it before, but I really do. I like the contrast to it a lot. Articulation is good, etc. So if you like white primes, if that's your thing, then I say go for it. It's not for me. I'll be returning it, but doesn't change the fact that this is a much better representation of a prime in terms of presentation than the original. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care. So it comes with the battle damage pieces?
They see that you nuts and they tell you that's the name. Meow, meow. It's a knife you get it. So, you see this the nuts.
Hey.
Huh?
I thought we were going to be nice and quiet for just a minute. Can we be nice and quiet for just a minute?
No.
Please.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
So, his even get nice. Considering no one has started, you have to be nice.
All right, let's go do something instead.